Welcome to the Dig Endurance Podcast, where we are all about digging deep and discovering the power of emotional resilience. I'm Aaron, and I'm joined by my brother, Sean.
As endurance athletes and business owners, we have learned a thing or two about facing and overcoming adversity. We are here to share inspiring stories from our guests that will help you to find that inner strength when you feel like you are running on empty.
Are you ready? Let's dig in.
Welcome back, everybody. Dig Endurance Podcast. Me, Aaron, and we've got Christian back on.
Yep, back
We
again.
decided to bring him back on after we witnessed the last feat for Christian.
Yeah, he's got a story to tell.
I was watching it and I was just like, oh man, is this like actually happening? Is this guy really? It was too much. Tell us about it.
I didn't watch the whole.
It's too much.
do they live feed those? Like, can you watch those from anywhere for the full the toughest mutters?
Yeah, so they have live results on the website, but
Okay.
then there's a couple different OCR media companies out there that'll be running around filming people. And
You can like catch up
So
on
Yeah,
it.
like
filming
your
the
your
results.
wife or your family, like, are they able to like watch a link and watch you like the whole event?
There's
Or-
a tracker.
yeah,
Oh,
so
a little
we wear
thing.
trackers, just like an Ironman.
Okay,
You wear one on
okay.
your
But
ankle.
not like video of the.
No, they'll have video. Actually, at this event, let me take a step back. They did have some cameras at different obstacles that were
Okay.
live feeding. So
Okay.
I believe they did
So you
have.
could like check in and watch you like.
Yeah, so you can
That'd
watch
be,
people
that'd be
do-
kind of cool. I'm not watching you
Crawl
for
through it.
flipping however many hours, 90 hours, whatever it is. But I'd watch some of it. But I saw some of your own footage. It looked. I mean, yeah, it looked.
Yeah,
intense,
it was cool. There
as
was
usual.
one of the OCR media companies was out there kind of following me around. They wanted to highlight some stuff, so they had a videographer out there that was chasing me around different spots throughout the night,
That's
the
cool.
morning, and the next day. And he put together this really cool little highlight reel. So I put that up on social media. I'm like, man, this is cool. This came out good.
Yes, I've seen all
Like,
those.
thanks.
They're great.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Okay, so just like in basic details what it was, just
Okay.
for the listeners.
This is always
because you talked about it
the
on
hardest
the podcast last time.
Yeah, it's always the hardest event to describe to people because you tell them, oh, I did a 24-hour Tough Mudder, and they're like, oh, well,
I did a Tough Mudder.
Yeah, I did. So
You're like, no, you haven't done anything like this.
I'll break it down a simple way. So 5-mile course, different destinations every year. So 5 miles, they have 20 obstacles. You start at noon on Saturday. The first hour, there's no obstacles open. So that's like your hot lap. So you're running, everyone's running
Full
fast.
speed
running hard.
ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you really want to run far, you want to sit back a little in the beginning.
Now you've probably got your crew.
Yes.
I mean, I assume this is similar to Ironman in that you've got part of your competitors are like, I just want to finish this thing. This is
Yeah.
my first time, and I just want to like check that box and say I did a toughest mudder. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's some of those. And then you've got your crew that are like, I'm going to win this one, or like I'm out to outcompete you. Is that essentially correct?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. So in the start line, there's 3 different groups of people wearing different bibs. So you'll have just
Okay.
like open or like people that first sign up or whatever the case is wearing white bibs. And then you have your contenders, which you have to qualify for that through other of their race series throughout the year. Then you have the elites wearing black bibs in the front. And those people like myself, I've run 100 miles at a world's toughest before, so I'm a lifetime elite.
Okay.
Or you have to place or do a certain amount of mileage at a 12-hour toughest mudder or
Okay.
an 8-hour tougher mudder.
Gotcha.
Stuff like that.
So the crowd that you're competing against is a proven crowd, essentially.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then you'll have guys. The guy that took, I believe it was third place. He was just a contender.
Wow.
He's run a lot of these events before though, but he didn't qualify this year with other races to be an elite. But I mean, it still goes to show you have guys coming up from the back
That's cool.
doing some big stuff.
That's cool. That's a cool story.
Yeah. So 5-mile loop, 20 obstacles, first hour, everything's closed. And then everything starts to slowly open about every half hour at the race director's discretion. So by, I believe it's 8 PM, everything is open. So then you got to deal with everything. And you got a lot of obstacles.
And you're already 3 hours into the race at that point.
No, by then you're 8.
Eight.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I thought 5. You said noon. Okay, so you're already 8 hours into the event by the time all obstacles have opened
Yeah.
up. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So,
Jeez.
and then so after you run 25 miles, you start to get wristbands. So you can use a wristband to skip any obstacle you want. So you kind of got some strategy you have to play. So I didn't use any wristbands till I think I was at mile 60. So I had all these purple wristbands on my arm.
Any obstacle you want.
Yeah. So there was a couple obstacles that were starting to kind of creep up on me, like some upper body stuff that was getting really wet, and you just end up slipping off of it. So you have to do a long penalty run. So this course this year, what got a lot of people was the penalty runs for obstacle failure was so long. There were guys I know of that ran 85 miles for course miles, but their watch said 100 at the end of it because they did so many penalty miles.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So, you really had to be pretty efficient at obstacles just to save.
Like a game of chess a little bit at the same time.
Yeah. So there's lots of strategy you gotta kind of play
That's
along
kind of
the way.
interesting.
It is interesting.
Huh. So it's not necessarily the fastest, but also the smartest runner to an extent.
Yeah, and if you're
Takes a
really
little
good
bit
at
of boredom out of
calisthenics
it.
and grip strength, that's,
You know,
Interesting.
Like, yeah, there's
Okay.
a little twist.
Okay.
Yeah. So then you just keep going and you go as far as you can go. And then the course cutoff is at the 24-hour mark. But if you're on a lap, once that 24-hour mark hits, you have an hour and a half to finish it. So 25 and a half.
Okay.
So I came through at the end. My 19th lap, I had 15 minutes until the start line closed. So I got out there on my 20th lap for 100 miles, and I finished it with, I think I had like 17 minutes until the end of the actual race. So,
And that was your goal. I'm trying to remember the conversation on our last podcast. You were discussing wanting to do, was it 100 miles in 24 hours or what?
So I wanted to
And
do
you had
100.
reached it almost or something.
I wanted to do 105 and take top 3 this year. That's like my ultimate goal. I ran 100 in 2021. Last year, I ran 95. Came up just a little short,
Okay.
but this year I wanted 105. Came up at 100, but I mean,
that's it?
100 is like 100's like the ultimate goal for most people out there.
Pretty sure 124 hours is like a cool belt buckle and
Yeah.
just a regular 100-mile run
Yeah, they always
without
have a full belt buckle.
obstacles.
But if you run 100 miles, you get one of these jackets right here.
All right. Oh.
That's
okay.
the coveted orange World's Toughest Mudder.
So how many
100 mile
people
jacket.
get the jacket? Yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So just normal jacket, but
Like
it's
the
orange.
green jacket
Yeah,
on
that's awesome.
like
Like golfing.
what's the Adam saying?
Yeah.
Shooter McGaff.
Happy
Yeah.
Kill McGaff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Take it and run from the
Well, what's funny
podcast.
is that the first year I ran 100, I was like, cool, I'm getting an orange jacket.
want an orange
but
jacket.
they gave us gold jackets that year with a floral print on the inside.
Oh.
And it was pretty cool, though, because we
Yeah.
were in Laughlin, Nevada. So
Oh.
after the brunch, everybody goes and does a bar crawl. That's just like the thing. So at the bar crawl, I flipped the jacket inside out and was wearing the floral print on the outside.
I can't imagine
So
why.
it was cool. But yeah, and I was stoked to get a jacket. And I believe now, since we had a couple new guys get 100 miles this year, I believe there's still under 20 people in the world who even have one of these
Wow.
at this point.
That's cool.
So were the guys that were on that stage with you in the picture, were those the only ones out of the whole race that did?
The guy that took first is a buddy of mine, Austin Azar, incredible athlete. I was running with him for a little while out there, but he took off and he was so efficient on obstacles. I think he only took 2 penalties the entire race.
Wow.
Did 105 miles, took first. He wasn't there. He's from Canada. I think he had to head back home. So
Okay.
yeah, awesome athlete.
Dang. So where did you fall? Where did you land?
I took 5th overall.
Wow.
And then first in my age group.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So
Good for you.
like back in the day, if you ran 100 miles at Worlds, you were guaranteed to take top 3. Now it's
Now it's getting more.
Nope, not anymore.
now
Because we have ice baths now.
yeah,
so
because we have
like
ice baths. And
Everything is getting
sauna.
that way. I mean, I'm like, just over halfway trying to qualify for Boston with Sean, and I get the notice that came down like 5 minutes per,
Oh, really?
per qualifying age. And I'm just like,
For now.
crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just at this juncture.
Yeah.
It's like next year's gonna be like 8 or 9
I'm
minutes.
still probably, because I can't qualify for 2024. That time that window's closed. It'd be for 2025. But yeah, that's if that doesn't get moved up again.
Yeah.
In the meantime, but they're saying the same thing. Every qualifying time that's coming in is consistently getting quicker and quicker.
Yeah.
And if anything, it makes me like I just want to qualify now
Definitely
before
a
it gets
planning
like
game.
more and more.
Ironman, no, Ironman, instead of going up and down, it's like on a cycle, right? So when Nice and Kona switch, it's
Yeah.
like when it's the year of Kona, like you better be throwing down some low 9s. When
Yeah.
it's Nice, it's like we're all going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I first
Exactly.
started looking at it, I think it was 305 for Boston. Then it was 3, and now I think it's very close to. I think it's like a 256 or 57 or something.
wow.
So in the time that I've been trying to like make this even a goal in the last 3 years, it's come down almost 10 minutes. And I'm just like, okay,
That's
great.
a lot.
Which for someone like you, you'd probably go do it tomorrow. And for me, I'm like, gosh, dang it. I got to like, I'm like trying to push just getting to 7 minutes a mile was the original goal. And now it's up 10 seconds a mile. And it's like, anyway, it makes the sense of urgency goes up.
So you've done all these events. You're trained. Your base level is way up here for the typical athlete. When you were headed over to the race, what was the game plan? Like, did you have a crew who went with you?
And where was this again?
So it was in Granbury, Texas.
Granburg, Texas?
Granbury.
Granburgundy. I've never even heard of that.
Bury.
Granbury.
Granbury,
Texas. Granbury, Texas.
So
Is that Dallas?
If you find a Dallas and you go down through Fort Worth and keep going, you'll hit Granbury.
Okay.
And there's like this lake there.
And usually they pick like super pretty like rural, in middle of nowhere type areas.
Yeah, usually somewhere where you're going to be close to a major airport because they have people from around the world flying.
Yeah, like I did. Okay, not a world's toughest mudder, but I did my very first Tough Mudder. This was in 2012. I did Beatty, Nevada. They called it the Las Vegas, Nevada Tough Mudder. It is not the Las Vegas, Nevada Tough Mudder. It was like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You fly into Vegas. I was like planning on staying with my in-laws, and then I go to like look at this thing. It was an hour and a half drive to get to Beatty from Vegas, but they call it the Vegas Tough Mudder.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's not.
They usually call it whatever's closest.
Yeah,
closest city and
yeah.
airport.
That makes sense, but at the same time, like that's why I'm kind of like expecting them to like have it somewhere, I don't know, out in Cowtown, because that's how it's been in the couple I've gone to. But okay, so you're like a couple hours south of Dallas.
Yeah.
Sounds like. Yeah. And then you said, so you brought a crew, or people went out there with you?
Yeah.
Like...
So I had my fiance, my mom, my brother, and I had a couple buddies that were crewing. So honestly, having a big crew is the best.
It's
because
so motivating to have people with you, huh?
Once you start hallucinating, like you said last time, and you hear some common voices, maybe it makes you feel...
So I didn't hallucinate at all this time.
It really makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I held off on painkillers and caffeine until... probably until like hour 14 or so. So I was just pushing through, and I mean, I was hurting, but once I started having caffeine and
like crack in the
Red
brain,
Bull and Tylenol is like the key combination. Your body warms up. I don't know how, but
I feel like
you
that's
get this
my key
warm
combination
feeling.
now, and I'm not even a world's toughest mudder, and I feel like I do that already.
Yeah, that's like the go-to pain reliever energy combo. But so talking about the pit crew and how that all works. So you have your start line, you have your finish. So when you run through, there's this big gap. So there's like the race center is on the left-hand side. So like after mile 25, as you run through, they give you, your bands for every lap. And you can see where you're at on the board. And then all the pit crew is over to the right. And since I was in the elite category, I got to pick one of the pits that are right up front. So run down, and my pit was right by the start line, and my whole pit crew could come up to the little fence they have there. So I run up, and they just hand me stuff over it. So I had like my staple food was the same carb drink every time, and then I had rice with maple syrup, and I had oatmeal with peanut butter and some fruit, and then we took a bunch of pizza because at some point you're going to start wanting to eat that. So I was eating pizza early on, a couple noodles, and at the end of the race, someone did a McDonald's run. So there were 7 McDonald's in my face the last few laps. And my last lap, when I ran through, I didn't want to stop. So I just booked it through. I had all this crazy energy. And somebody hands me Tylenol, Tums in my left hand, a Red Bull in my right hand, and then a hash brown from McDonald's. So I throw all this stuff in my mouth. I'm like trying to chug this Red Bull and eat this hash brown as I'm like entering my next lap.
That's funny.
But yeah, having a big pit crew is great because some of your pit crew can go out.
It's logistics too.
Yeah, kind of along the course and see where you are and say like, hey, like, what do you want coming in on the next lap? Or you got people out there to kind of push you too, and give you some inspiration, which really helped me because this race I was crumbling the last few laps. I scratched my cornea, my left eye. On my 18th lap.
You need to see the pictures.
Yeah, so I had my left eye
all red and nasty.
Yeah,
he was like in the hospital for a little bit, right?
I went to the ER the day after just to get it checked out.
Are you good?
Yeah, it's still a little blurry, so
that's okay.
Things are coming back. But so I had my left eye closed basically the last few hours of the race. So that was a struggle. I was all disoriented. My equilibrium was all off. And finally tried to get it to a spot where I could, just figure out, okay, I'm gonna run straight.
It's the best.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I don't think so. Not me.
Not the eye thing, but like all the other stuff, like the hallucinations.
Every time I talk to him, I just feel like, well, we were talking before the pod. I'm just like, I like, I like feel like I get it together for this half marathon, and I finish, and I'm like, I did a thing, and then you come on, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't do anything.
That's right.
I'm just like, yeah, no.
That's how I feel doing the Ironman stuff, and then
Yeah.
I'm watching his thing over the weekend on
Ironmans are
Instagram.
hard.
I'm like, come on, Christian,
Dang.
just stop.
Yeah, no, it's
Let me feel
impressive.
good
It's
about myself
impressive
for a little bit.
It's impressive.
It's just everything's different and relative. Like I said
No,
last time I
know.
was on it.
It's just funny.
Yeah. No, I mean, Ironmans are definitely tough. I mean, this race, it's really hard to explain, and hard to explain how you go through the motions of like the pain and how you feel. Just one of those where you just got to stay consistent. Don't go out too hot. Just keep moving,
Sure.
basically.
That's
I mean,
the
all you
biggest
do is
thing.
you keep moving, keep
Fifth-
fueling, and just keep,
Fifth
keep at it.
overall,
Yeah.
but not a PR on this one.
No. And 21, I did that course a little faster.
Okay. I guess that's not really a fair question because all those courses are probably, I'm sure, very different.
Yeah.
That's probably fair in the temperament of the climate. And then, are you? So but your goal was 105, didn't get that this time.
No.
But are you? So I'm.
You're automatically in, obviously.
Are you?
like,
Are
what,
you?
for
Are you?
5 years
Are you
straight or
planning? Are you
whatever?
planning to do another one? Maybe it's a dumb
Yeah,
question.
I'm
You're
gonna do next year. It's in Orlando, Florida.
Do they only do one of
Ooh.
these a year?
Yeah.
One. Okay.
Yeah, it's always in November.
Let's do it, Florida.
Yeah, let's sign
I'd
up.
be down.
I tell everybody
Plus
to
one,
sign up.
I'd be
Let's
down to go support you or something. I'm
After Ironman Texas, then I will explore other
Yeah.
things.
So,
I need one.
I'm gonna
more
be at
Ironman.
Ironman Texas.
Are
as
you?
well. I'm trying to qualify for Kona.
I'm gonna smoke you.
But then let's go.
Let's go.
But if I do
baby.
Kona, that's only I think 3 weeks before World's Toughest, so that's gonna be a quick turnaround.
Oh, that's perfect though.
Yeah.
Give you like another 3-week tape.
Yeah, I know.
okay.
How old are you?
29.
Perfect. Yeah. It's a Kona year though,
Yeah,
so it's got to be quick.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Cool.
Texas. I
See
mean,
how
that was the
nervous
first.
he just got when he found out I was going.
Sean's dropped.
Shaking.
Sean's dropped 30 pounds in
No, not
about
30.
a
It was
month.
like 25.
He's gonna be fast.
25. Excuse me. He's dropped 25 pounds in like a month. He is back on track though.
I'm trying to get people to. So I met these guys. They're from like Argentina and something in when I qualified and did Worlds at St. George, and I walked with them on the marathon, like total random dudes, and we're all going to Texas together. Like we
Nice.
don't even know each other. And then I'm trying to get Martin, but he has a 100-miler like a week before or 2 weeks before, so I don't think.
He'll
I
be
don't think
fine.
anything. And then I tried to get. I'm talking crap with Nate. In Utah, Nate Zerlango. I'm like, hey, I'm just trying to like poke at people to like motivate myself to go
Yeah.
faster. I need one more fast Ironman, then I'll be cool.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll see.
Texas is good. It's.
Are you
nice and
kidding?
flat.
It was the best run ever.
Yeah.
That was at the
yeah.
Hippie Hollows. All
I
that
mean,
stuff.
yeah,
is
yeah.
the
Wait,
best.
it's in April. So I lived in I lived in Louisiana for a few years. I mean, yeah, it's super flat. I mean, I did a half Ironman in Louisiana. The thing that sucks is the humidity. As long as you're in a good month for that, then you're good. Humidity's not fun to run in at all.
No, not at all.
I got the last slot there in Texas.
Did you?
It was a non-wetsuit swim, and I was like, I'm not gonna qualify.
So it's completely full already.
So
No, there's still spots open.
No. This is back. This is a couple years ago.
Oh.
And so I took, I think 14th or something like that. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was up there. It was not a fast time. And I remember thinking like, nah, just freaking don't wear a wetsuit. And there are a lot of people wearing wetsuits. And I was like, okay. So anyways, and it came down, you've done the ceremony, right?
Yeah.
And the two guys in front of me did not get it because they had wetsuits. And I don't know how they know, but they know. They were like talking, and I was like, okay. And then I got the last one.
So is non-wetsuit legal and they wore a wetsuit?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
A lot of people wore wetsuits.
I'm
Tons of people
surprised.
were like, no. And I was like, oh, that sucks to be you.
yeah.
Anyways,
That water over there is nasty.
it's terrible.
It's so shallow too.
Absolutely
You're
terrible.
just-
You
you're
go to
like
that canal with duck poop and all
Yeah.
that. It's so gross.
you're pushing through all like the weeds and
it's-
stuff.
I thought it was a joke.
It's the South. That's the South.
It was terrible. It
Yeah.
was sitting there not moving like.
So I think Sean's piqued my interest. I think I'm going to try to get back on the marathon track. I think I'm going to try for Ironman California for the Sacramento.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to try to do that.
Better sign up quick.
He told me it's like in a river, so you at least get a little bit of
No, it's not
current.
a little. It's not a little bit. It's like
That's a lot. I looked
of
at
it.
people's times. And I was like,
You could be the
damn.
slowest swimmer. and
That's
you're
good
swimming
because
faster
my
than pros.
my strategy
and
is I
you're
just want to get in and float down the river,
Yeah.
not even swim, and then once I hit the bike and the run, I can
No,
actually do
you're
something.
30, 40, 45 minutes faster than.
That's awesome.
Easily.
So I think I'm gonna try to do that one.
Have you done California?
No. I've only done the
The only thing
Ironman.
that's gonna suck about that is that it will be cold, and I'm a wuss when it comes to cold water.
You'll
But
be fine.
yeah,
You'll warm up quick.
Yeah. I don't do toughest mutters, bro.
Ice.
Yeah, ice
Aaron
bath,
needs
there
an
you go.
ice bath.
Yeah.
Next time we'll bring him over.
So what's the next event? Like,
Yeah.
you already said you're gonna do another 100 miler, but that's not for another year or another World's Toughest Mudder.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do next?
So the next big event is February 24th. I'm going to Saudi Arabia to run a team Tough Mudder or Tougher Mudder race.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
What?
Wait, what?
It's on the books for now.
How do you
but we'll see.
distinguish a tougher mudder from a toughest mudder?
So the Tougher is actually they don't call it Tougher. It's a Infinity Tough Mudder Infinity. It's an 8-hour daytime race. So they usually do them during normal events. So you just go out and run like your 10-mile event. Well, you're going out there and you're running that course over and over and over all day long for 8 hours until they close. So it's an official race though. So you're trying to take top spots, but somehow they got tied in with doing a race in Al Ula in Saudi Arabia, this little town in the middle of nowhere in Saudi Arabia. And it's the biggest cash prizes in OCR history.
Oh, there we go.
So, I mean, there's a lot of...
Trying to win some money?
Well, I've got a team together, and currently we're undefeated in the 12-hour races as a team. So we're trying to go over there and
Until me and Sean enter.
and win.
Yeah, you literally have no chance.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm just kidding.
But it's crazy if you race solo if you take first, it's $80,000.
For the team or per?
No, for if you race solo for their team, it's $40K. So each person would take home $10K.
That's still pretty.
Which
So
is
does
pretty
it
good.
trickle down the podium a little bit?
Yeah, so it goes. I believe it's $80K for first place solo, then 32, 16.
That's a big drop.
10, but then it's like there's cash prizes. I think all the way to like
1,200,
20th
1,100.
place.
Wow.
So
Okay.
people have a good shot at making some money.
Huh.
Then they have a 2-man and then a 4-man team. But right now we're planning on a 4-man. It's
Nice.
on the books, but we'll see.
We like the Tough Mudder
What
stuff, huh?
what date?
Yeah, I
would
like
that
the
be?
race. The race.
What makes
formats.
you?
cool.
I have to ask. What makes you choose Tough Mudder over Spartan?
I started with Tough Mudders when I was 18. I've run a few Spartans. I think I just really gravitate towards the community of Tough Mudder and just the type of obstacles and the way that their events run. I mean,
Okay.
to me, it's a lot more aggressive on the body than a Spartan is. You're constantly wet. There's always water involved. There's always bigger
I
obstacles.
can see that for sure.
It's a little more
Hence the name Mud.
a little more mental.
I mean, maybe it's because when I did the Tough Mudder.
Have you done a Spartan?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I did the Tough Mudder in 2012, like I said, I was in Nevada. That was, it was like what you're describing. Then I went to do a second one in 2016 in Florida, and they had watered it down a ton. But it wasn't a tougher or a toughest mudder. This is like very retail, just to the open, the whatever. So maybe that matters. I don't know. But it had changed a lot. And we're in Beatty, they didn't have us like circle more than once. It was just one massive loop, which I actually appreciated. And in the Florida, they had us do 2 loops. So you're just doing the same obstacles twice, and then the obstacles weren't near as harsh or challenging as when I did it in Nevada. And so it kind of, I've only done 2. And again, that was 2016, so it's like 7-8 years ago. And then the Spartans, when I did those, they felt more, I agree with you that they were less painful, like no electricity and other stuff that would like harm you, but they felt more sports-like, if that makes sense, like a legitimate, like a sports challenge or a game in front of you, like more organized courses and more, I don't know, does that make sense? That's how Spartan comes off to me. So I don't know, I just kind of gravitated a little more towards that, I guess.
No, I agree with you there. It's as a regular event, if you're looking at the 2 of them, Spartan's definitely more like, hey, I'm going to show up and try to like race and beat people at this event. Tough Mudder's like, let's go have fun, let's bring some friends, let's help each other.
See how hard I
obstacles.
go for myself.
So that's why I gravitate more towards their
Because
race series.
you're more of a psychopath versus like a human.
Yeah.
Got it.
Exactly.
Spartan. I know they do a marathon distance. Do they also go 100-mile or beyond a Spartan?
No, so Spartan, I believe they cap. Well, they do have
50K.
I think their world
I've seen a
champ race
50K.
is 24 hours.
Is it?
I believe so.
Okay, I know that they do this thing like if you're a Spartan, they've got like a 3 medal system. I think it's if you've done the 5, the half, and then like the the full marathon or
so
something.
their trifecta, I think, is like a 3-miler, 10, and then I believe a half marathon. That's
is
like
that
the
trifecta.
Okay. But then they have a trail race series, and they have like their Ultra Beast, and then I believe they do have. I think the World Championships.
What would stop you from doing both? Like just to try and see what you could do over there. Have you ever thought about that? Or
Honestly, I've never even really looked into it.
I'm sure you'd probably, based on your Tough Mudder performances, probably do just fine. It sounds like.
So let's talk training.
It'd be fun.
What are you gonna do for Texas? What's your are you gonna structure with Natasha? Are you gonna do?
Would Ironman Texas be the next event then? If you're
that'd
gonna
be the next Ironman event. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start mid-December on that training block for Texas.
Okay. What do you do? So I know there's different off seasons for. I'm sorry. We'll get. It's relevant to his question. It's relevant. So, if you're in the off season, you said your next training block's gonna start December. Like, what do you do to maintain in your off block? Like,
so right now, I took about a solid week off after Worlds. I mean, we're only a week and a half out from the event, and Monday I started weightlifting again. I ran just a couple miles last night.
Do you just go by feel again? Just like, hey, try to wake my body up a little bit. That's all you're doing?
I'm going by feel this week. Next week I'll probably get back more on a structured program. But I kind of want to take the rest of this month to just kind of have some fun. Maybe take the mountain bike out.
It's more beneficial.
By a structured program, you mean like your own, and then like hit it with an actual program and like December kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because right now I'm just kind of going on the whim. Like, I'll do this lift today.
I was just curious because everyone's off season or what they do is, it's different.
I don't really
have
an off season. I would never call it an off season.
Okay.
I don't know. I just keep going.
Well, I mean, I guess my point is you took a week. You took a week off.
I took a week and I'm like, wow, I feel really weird. My body needs it, but this isn't normal.
Right. Sure. Like, Indian Wells is in December. I could just do that real quick, and then all of a sudden,
I did contemplate going to Cozumel.
Did you?
Race. Yeah.
I contemplated Indian Wells, but then I realized it was my wife's birthday, so she's like, yeah, no.
Hey, we're going on vacation.
So back to his question.
I tried. It didn't work.
You're going to be back in mid-December on a training.
Yeah, Ironman training block.
Okay, and then and the same coach you're using now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sick. I have Fridays off. Yeah. Starting January, right? Fridays off all day, so we can do our endurance days on Fridays.
There we go.
It's really fun.
Do some long rides. We'll go ride up 4 lanes and.
We will.
Have some fun.
We'll definitely train together. For sure. Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm excited you're going to Texas. This is exciting. So, in this race, I want to talk more about the Tough Mudders, so people can get a grasp of what exactly was going on. 2 things. What are the biggest challenges when you're hitting those obstacles and stuff like that? Where you're, I don't know, I don't even know what these obstacles are or what they look like, but you're talking about upper body strength and slipping. Are we talking about like monkey bar stuff in the water?
Yeah.
Or what?
Well, yeah, there's some of that. And then, I mean, he can speak to more, but like even mine was also like getting electrocuted in the butt and on the face and in the shoulder.
And then I'll go through those.
They like some of those barbed wire.
Okay, give us like the top 2 or 3 just where you're like, fuck, I don't want to do this. This is stupid.
So I'll kind of give an overview of some. So a lot of it is the upper body stuff, like you said. You got monkey bars, but there was a rope you had to climb up to get to the monkey bars to come down. Well, eventually that gets wet because a couple obstacles before that, you're soaking wet, so that just keeps traveling through obstacles. A really cool one, they had a coach's corner. So the DJ for the event had his DJ booth set up as an obstacle at the top of this hill. So you crawl under the stage that he's on into like this room. There's a cargo net that you climb over and then go into this other room where there's all this glow in the dark stuff. But then they would fill it with menthol smoke. So you couldn't see anything at all. Like like this close to your face, you couldn't see anything. So then your sinuses or your nose starts running because of that menthol stuff. So that's like one of the crazier.
Like a steam room at the gym.
And you're having to do that 20 times as part of your laps?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But they had the smoke kind of in and out, so it wasn't there all the time.
Gosh.
What else is kind of tough?
The one that I probably hated the most, that was in the second one, is I am very claustrophobic. I don't do well in tight spaces, and they do this one where it's like you are very much on your body, and you can't
and
move
those
your
stupid black tube things.
You can't move.
So I had one of those.
I saw,
and they had it so that it's like water.
Oh yeah,
it's just right chin level.
I'm cool with that.
And so your mouth is barely above, and then you can barely. And it was like that's a long crawl.
Yeah,
I don't remember what the obstacle was called.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And then to top it off, they put little bits of gravel or kind of sharpish rocks in the tunnel, and it's just like, why am I paying money to do this to myself?
Your knees
you're getting
stuff.
you're getting stabbed. Like, I'm barely above water. I can barely move my arms. That was probably the least favorite. That's probably
so
what
they had one of those. It was like kind of a teeter-totter obstacle. So you get in water, and the tube's like this. So you get in it, there's a rope in there, and you pull yourself up, and once you get to the middle, it tilts the other way.
Oh my gosh.
And it shoots you out the other side into water that's filled with ice. So then you have your quick ice bath and come out of that.
Oh my gosh.
I think wasn't there a video of you coming out? I was like, I watched all these.
It
I was
will launch you
fascinated.
out.
There's the one they call it the Arctic Enema.
Yeah, so this was like the Arctic Enema mixed with crawling through a tube and flying out into the water.
Yeah, Arctic Enema.
I'm good off that.
He did a more extensive version than me, but Arctic Enema is like you in the big ice bucket, and they've got antifreeze in there or whatever it is to make the water stay colder or whatever the chemical is.
They could just color it with food color.
Oh, okay. I thought they put. Okay.
But they constantly fill it with
either
bags,
way, it's freezing
with
cold.
ice.
Yeah,
it's freezing cold, and they make you again. It's like the tiniest little gap you have to squeeze under and then go back to the other side to climb out, and you're freezing cold, claustrophobic. I did that thing as just freaking fast as I could to say at least I did it and wasn't a little wimp, but I hated every second of doing that too. Yeah, dude.
That one's honestly, I appreciate that obstacle. The world's toughest.
Cools you off.
Because it cools you off, wakes you up, and honestly, that little shock to your muscles kind of relaxes you a little bit. Huh. So, yeah, I like that one. It's
just enough to wake you up, but not where an ice bath. I feel like I would never want to work out after that. I want to just either work or go into a meeting.
Quick, though,
I feel like
the
what do you call the people in Hunger Games, the game makers?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like these are people that just get to the next Tough Mudder. It's like, okay, how should I torture them? Could you imagine that being your job? It's just this is going to be the next obstacles for this next race.
Probably people like this guy that are like, nah, that's
enough.
Well, the obstacles actually used to be a lot more extravagant. It used to be a lot bigger when they had more funding. The company doesn't have as much funding now.
But wood's a little more expensive to play with nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, they used to have some big stuff. They still have the big A-frame obstacle. It's 40 feet tall, so you have to get up this wall and then climb up the cargo net and down the other side.
And then both ones I did, they made sure to shock you at the end, whatever they call that.
So I only had one electricity obstacle. It was Operation. So you stand in a trough of water, and there's a wall, and there's holes in the wall that are lined in metal that are set up to shock you. And you have to take a pole and just feed it through the wall, nice and easy. And then on the wall on the backside, they had little glow sticks, and you had to pick up a circular glow stick off the wall and then feed the basically that long pole back out without touching the ring.
20 times.
Yeah, because if you touch it, it shocks the crap out of it. Yeah, I got hit once, and it freaking rocks you. But there were some people next to me
woke you up, huh?
that were getting nailed, and then they would jolt, so they would hit it again, and then it was just a constant over and over until they let go.
I was going to say, you drop it, I would just let go. I would be...
Yeah. Oh my gosh. If somebody else gets nailed, since you're all standing in water together,
you're all toast.
You're guaranteed to get nailed too.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
This is
dude.
I love endurance stuff. This does not sound like my jam though.
No.
It's just literally the one thing I haven't done.
He's like,
anything else, let's break me in half, but not.
I dream about this at night. I live for this, huh?
I could tell.
Dang. That's cool.
Okay. One last thing though. What happened to the eye?
So I believe it was after this obstacle where you're rolling under barbed wire. So they got water and all these rocks, and then it's super long. It's 50, 60 feet long. You're going under barbed wire, and you come up on this mound, and then they had the barbed wire super low where you have to lift the barbed wire up and slide under it, and then go back under barbed wire on the other side. Well, that water was super, super dirty, muddy, and I got water in my eyes a couple times, and I think that's when I started to feel like, I got something in my eye, so I was rubbing my eye, and then right after that, it was blurry, hurt like heck, and I had to keep my eye closed for about the last 15 miles.
Were you able to at least rinse it out to where it was just the cornea that was scratched or whatever it is that just hurt? Versus there's a rock stuck in my eyelid.
Yeah, right after the race, I went to the medical tent. They took a look at it. We ran some saline through it.
I imagine the medical tent's pretty busy at an event like this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Sitting there in line.
I went to the urgent care after the race too, and they looked at it, gave me some drops. Went to the ER the next morning because it hurt like hell. Like, yeah, you scratched your whole cornea, so we're gonna prescribe you these other drops.
And I'm sorry, what did you scratch it on again? It was
just some like dirty water or something.
Oh,
it must have been some like just fine enough dirt particles. But it was funny. I went straight from the ER to the brunch wearing because they didn't put a patch over my eyes, so I wore my sunglasses the whole entire day. So
chilling
in the brunch when I was getting
wrong with this
going
guy?
up on stage and taking photos, I'm the only guy up there with shades on,
just so people aren't. Well, it's either they look at you weird for that, or they look at you with your.
I'm like, eye closed.
I think you made the right decision.
All right, so Texas, what's the goal other than Kona? That's everyone's goal, period, obviously. But what's your?
I haven't really set a time goal, but I did. What did I do this year?
You're gonna have to be well under 10.
Yeah, I did 10-11 this year, first Ironman. So yeah, I'm gonna say low 9s. Right. I know everything's improved. As far as swimming, biking, my running's probably around the same. But yeah, I think I can cut about an hour off.
Okay. Well, even though my goal is 9:59, I'm still gonna smoke you.
All right, let's do this.
Just kidding. My goal is 9:59. That is my goal, hands down. I don't care what else has happened. I'm not throwing down a Kona time, unfortunately.
Just gotta run really, really fast.
Yeah. If I can get down to like 150 pounds, but that's about another 50 pounds from here. So we'll see. That's a lot.
Oh, you got time.
Yeah, I do. That's the whole point. I'm not racing until then.
Good.
Sweet. I'm pumped. All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on your another successful outing.
This might be the most difficult challenge on our show so far.
It's
times about 100.
I always tell people, I'm like, if you want a big challenge, run a World's Toughest. I mean, just because the fatigue on your body from being bruised, your hands, just everything.
Martin, are you listening right now? This guy's making you look like a baby.
We all love Martin.
Yeah, we do. He's the best. I'll give him a hug for you.
Yeah.
All right. Good deal.
Cool. Thanks, Christian. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for coming on, Christian.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Best of luck in the next one.
Appreciate it.